get rolling here. All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I call the meeting to order and ask everyone to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, in the presence of the quorum, ask for the approval of the regular agenda. I would have one additional new business item, the item C. We'll call it FOIA resolution. There is a packet, or a document, I should say, that each of you has. That's what we'll be discussing at that point. This is the reason I got this yesterday about 2 o'clock, so we have to approve that before 1 July to be in compliance. That's why we're acting on it today. So with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the regular agenda with that change or any other changes or modifications, updates, corrections.
Motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the regular agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The agenda is approved. Now I ask for approval of the consent agenda, which consists of the approval of the minutes, approval of invoices paid, and a review of the treasurer's report. I'll give everyone a minute or two to review, refresh their recollection of those documents.
A little typo in there somewhere, but apparently not.
What? Minutes?
I thought, but maybe not. Oh, I know what it was. Judy. It's Judy with an I, not Judy with a Y.
Is it?
Good.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, it makes sense. Judith,
No,
right?
yeah.
Judith.
J-U-D-I.
That's the way it should be.
But somewhere in the minutes, it's Judy with a Y, and
It's a good catch.
not with an I.
Is there anything else? All right, when ready, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval of the consent agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is approved. And public comment? Anyone? Anyone at all? Okay. Chief's report.
All right. As everybody knows, we've been meeting with Dexter Fire to develop the closest station response policy, which we'll be obviously looking at later. But we have both come to an agreement on that policy. Our staff has looked at it, everybody's looked at it, Dexter's looked at it, and so it's set up so that when Station 2 opens, we will begin kind of what we call a closest fire station response. So it's kind of from our standpoint, it's kind of an exciting thing to put the two departments working closer together for the benefit of the citizens. Myself and the captains attended a course titled Dealing with Difficult People. It was a one-day class, just went over different techniques for illustrating, communicating with various personality types. Captain Sarovi, which is also included, wrote a grant to purchase and install security cameras for station. This grant is through our insurance company. They do it twice a year. They award grants for risk reduction kinds of things. I also attended a monthly fire chiefs meeting, county chiefs meeting, and they're working on developing the training for active shooter program that'll be done with the police departments. They've kind of taken a different approach now with active shooters as far as the fire department's role and everybody's role really in these scenarios. Continued discussions on the 800 radio millage, which sounds like it's going to move forward at 2 mills as it currently is. We did conduct a 3-day course on confined space. It was mandatory for the entire department. We did this out at Chrysler Proving Grounds. They were very gracious in allowing us to go out there. We spent 3 days. We had new people, and there was a recertification for others. Public education programs, W4 Country, the Bubba Show. They do an annual Firehouse Friday throughout the course of the summer, and we hosted that in May on the 15th. And then May 4th, we went out to Linden Township on a natural gas line explosion, and we were receiving multiple calls on it from a jet plane crashing to pipeline rupture, whole kinds of different things, and we quickly found out it was a 20-inch high-pressure gas line that had ruptured. The conditions couldn't have been any better. It's natural gas is lighter than air, and it was untreated, which meant it was odorless. We had, the humidity was relatively low, and we had no wind, so it was out in the middle of a wooded area, and it was going straight up. We did continuous air monitoring around the site, and found no accumulation of any gas, so it worked out really well. I will be going to Linden Township next week, and we're going to be conducting a kind of a question and answer, an informational meeting with their community up there. We're going to have pipeline representatives up there, and we're going to have emergency management up there, and so try to answer some questions as to, and one of the things that came up is, why didn't we evacuate everybody in the area? And we don't evacuate people from their homes unless there's a need to. And we were using the mapping abilities of the hazmat team and air monitoring, and we determined that we evacuated the people that we felt needed evacuating, and we didn't do anything to anybody else. So we didn't try to affect anybody that was not impacted by that. I also passed out, I gave everybody a copy of 2 things. County provides us the millage reduction, the calculations, the worksheet that we get our numbers from for budgeting purposes. So now, we multiply that by 1.8, should come up and give us our numbers for what our budget should be for next year. And then also, we received a information back, or payment back from Washtenaw County on, they typically, for indigent tax monies, they send back a check to us. And all I did is I took the current profit and loss and what had been received or spent, whatever, year to date. I added what our budget was, the approved budget for 15, and I added those numbers to it, and I came up, and that was, and then the very last number then is the total, what it should be at the end of the year. Just collections, it has nothing to do with any expenditures. The city of Chelsea, we don't receive funds until after, they don't start collecting until July. So I just used the 2014 numbers just to kind of let people see where, how the numbers kind of shake out, so. Other than that, the only other thing I have, and it came to me, and we discussed insurance on the building. I spoke to Decker Agency, and they need that were declined coverage for, the insurance to the 200 West Middle Street Fire Station, because the city carries, the property insurance, so we would end up carrying quasi like renter's insurance on it. That has to be signed, and then also, we're working on numbers for for Station 2, make sure that we've got everything that's in there covered as well, so that will be quasi renter's insurance. For Station 2, it's pretty easy because we just sent them a copy of the lease. We don't have a lease with the city, and so they need this other that we're declining coverage. Just something they have on record, so that if there is a loss, the building falls in or whatever, then somebody's not getting 2 checks. So city's getting a check, and because it can't double dip it. So.
So you want me to sign this?
Yes.
Well,
Like a motion to authorize?
if we don't, this is not an agenda item. Can we do it next month?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't
let's
see
do it.
that as an issue.
Put it on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
Because it's gotta be on the agenda. Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Chief. Questions, comments for the chief? Go ahead, Kurt.
You did an event, a public event by the dollar store.
Yes.
So,
How is that funded? How does that work?
Just non-duty guys go down and just do standby and show off the trucks and answer questions, things like that.
But there are hard hats or something that they sign, and there's
Plastic hats?
oh,
plastic
little
hats or
helmets?
something.
Yeah.
So we budget for that, and
It's all part of our PR budget, yes.
And then, what's your policy? Any store can request that, or only when it's a grand opening, or
We do
whoever
it
asks?
we do it, anybody that asks us, we come down, we'll send a truck down and,
Okay.
yep.
And then I've noticed in that parking lot, there's some hydrants that are covered with plastic. Is that, and it's been that way for a couple of months. I don't know if that, it's probably a city issue, but I don't know
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you're.
it is, and it usually indicates that they're out of service. And so it means, just identifies that they're not used. Now, there's been, and you might be able to help me out with this one, because I was asking questions in some of the plan review stuff as far as the municipal water there. And they have some agreement where it's private, they have a private agreement with the city or something as far as hydrant maintenance and things like that.
That went back and forth for years.
Because-
At one point in time, the city was maintaining all those hydrants, and then it became to the point where we will come fix them if you pay for it type of thing, because they are your hydrants on private property. So where it stands right now, I honestly don't know. I've been out of the business too long, but,
Okay. This is at that farm family
Yeah,
home.
right down there.
The
in
one
that-
where we had the big fire.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
They worked then, I guess.
Yes, they did work
That's
then.
not good.
Yeah, we didn't have a problem with them then.
When we're having an open house, or the grand opening. The
But if that happened, that car happened
last
again. with the-
If they're not in
Fire
service,
thing.
then, right, then we have.
Is this an issue I need to raise with the city?
I would ask that question, yes, how they're doing their hydrant maintenance, especially in that site, so.
All right. We may talk about this after.
Okay.
Okay.
But yes, that's what that means, Kurt, they're out of service.
I'm sorry, Kurt, yeah, anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Anybody else? I got a couple things. This Two Mills thing, we talked about this before. It sounds like they're gonna do it. I mean, this is gonna raise an incredible amount of money. I assume they're gonna find a way to spend it. Government's not gonna have a problem doing that. Is, when will we as a board, a public safety board, get more information about this? Because I assume they would want our concurrence in this.
There's gonna be a group that comes around and, kinda like they did the last time. Isn't that your understanding, Roger? They're gonna send somebody, have representatives come out and speak to each board and so they can explain what their business plan is and where the money's gonna be going.
And then, okay, that'll happen at the due the fullness of time at some point.
When is the millage?
November, I believe.
This November?
November, yep.
Okay. We'll be ready for them. Let's see. I noticed here you talked about some joint activities with the Proving Grounds, and you
Yes.
talked about the use of their confined space locations.
Yes.
What is that?
It's an area that is not designed for human occupancy, so like in pits, vats, any space that's difficult to get in and get
Tanks.
out of, tanks and things
This
like
is a
that.
training facility, is it not? Is that
No,
right?
we were actually using
okay.
their work areas.
Fine, okay, that's
Yes.
the clarification I wanted. With regard to the gas line explosion, will the, it's,
Rupture.
yeah,
Yeah.
rupture, right, true enough, okay, yeah, exactly my point, I guess. First question, is there going to be a report on why this happened and lessons learned and going forward? Because I don't know what area, I mean, if this was like 20 inches at 600 PSI, that's pumping out a lot of gas, and it's gotta be flammable over some reasonably large area. I mean, point's well taken,
Yeah.
there's no wind that went.
We were lucky.
Being lucky is not a
No.
policy. The question, I mean, will there be a report, who's gonna write it, and when will we speak?
My understanding is
Our
that
township has requested from consumers to give us a reason why. We have not received that yet.
You know, it may take a while, I mean, it's.
yeah, my understanding is, and I don't know, and Kurt may know, or Linda, but I was told that NTSB was going to also be doing an investigation of it. Don't ask me why, that's what I was told, yeah.
What's it got to do with transportation?
Because of
Transportation.
transporting
It's a
gas.
Transport of
gas.
gas.
Is that right?
So-
It's a transport
Transport
line.
line?
Yeah,
Mhm.
so, but I don't, that's what I was told,
Okay.
I don't know if that's
Can
factual or
we,
not.
I'd like, keep your ear open on that, because I think it's important to have some, I mean, consumers is certainly gonna weigh in.
They will be there that evening,
Okay,
so.
but I think it's important to have some formal governmental oversight agency review this, and that we get privy to the results. Because it's, we rolled the dice on that one, so. Anything else for anybody for the chief? All right, okay, into unfinished business, status of the substation refurbishment.
We are, once again, the guys out here laugh at me, but we are getting very, very close. There's a few doors to hang in there. The appliances need to be installed. Eventually, within a week or so, Mishcon or DTE will be out there. This will be at the owner's expense to upgrade the gas line and upgrade the gas meter so that it will be capable of, should anything happen, it's capable of running absolutely the generator, everything in the station, all at one time. Currently, it is not. It can do bits and pieces, but it doesn't have the correct volume at this point. But the epoxy floor is down, lighting, electrical is done. The sign is being constructed as we speak. It'll be a nice LED backlit Chelsea Area Fire Authority sign. What do you think on that, Kim? Another week and a half? Give or take?
Yeah, he said 3 weeks maximum, but he was hoping to turn it out in 2 weeks,
So-
we're going on the second week right now.
Give or take, that'll be soon.
This is gas, this is for the gas.
Pardon?
This is for the gas.
No, this is the Chelsea Area Fire Authority
Okay.
sign.
What's,
Gas, hopefully next week. The owner, Bob, has been in charge of communicating with that and organizing that. So $9,000 to upgrade the gas line to 1.25 inches and upgrade the meter to capacity. So the new well is installed. We have water now. Yeah, toilet sink and everything is being set, so I keep saying one more week. That's what I'm in hope of, is definitely by the 1st of July, I would say.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. The question we have as a board is, when do we inform Dexter, the fire department, DAFD, that we're now in service with service?
Chief and I had discussion, and we picked the 1st of July out of our hat, that at that point, we would enter into the closest station agreement, and I'm quite confident that we will be in there by then. So I think we can put the plan in action.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion making that statement with the understanding that if there are other issues, we would have to come back in special session and basically renege that agreement. We're going to tell Dexter we don't, the agreements, the contract is renewing month to month.
Correct.
We're going to tell them this contract will end on 1 July or 30 June.
Correct.
If something happens and then we
Whoops.
what it means is that we'll have to come back in special session and undo that. That's the main repercussion. But that, with that understanding, I would entertain a motion to basically direct me to inform Dexter that, the fire department, DAFD, that this contract will end effective 30 June.
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Further discussion?
There's also the dispatching that needs to be changed, so they would have to notify.
We've already worked on that.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, so
set to
that
go.
means officially say
Right,
midnight of this date.
correct.
Okay.
They know it's coming.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, this motion on the floor, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, so ask for a vote on the motion to inform Dexter Fire Department that the service agreement will be terminated effective 30 June 2015. Okay, what you got? Okay. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The motion is agreed to. Thank you, Craig. I mean, yeah, Jim.
How about Dexter Township too? Do we need to do something, or does that need to come from their board?
I think that they pay us,
Right,
so it's up to them.
okay, all right.
My interpretation. Right?
Yeah, that's fine, I
Well,
just,
that's through,
It's a township board.
is through
Yeah.
township.
Yeah.
yes,
We pay the fire department, township board pays us.
right.
Okay, we did have a special session prior to this meeting in closed session on the union negotiations, but our chief negotiator, Tom, trustee Osborne, say anything he chooses to say about that?
Basically, we are down to one issue right now, and probably schedule a meeting in July sometime to work on that one issue.
Yeah, we're looking at it as soon as possible.
Well, I'm going to a family
Oh,
reunion,
okay,
so
yeah, right. First things first.
we could cancel it, and you can deal with my wife.
Maybe, does she negotiate better than you?
Sometimes, yeah.
All right, thanks for all your hard work in the committee with trustee Cosec and chief Payer, doing human service. Okay, anything else? Okay,
That's
thank you.
basically it.
Item C, status of Station 1 repairs.
The helical piles have been installed. The guys have just been super to work with down there. Have really done a nice job. They were in replacing some of the concrete out back the other day when I stopped by. And I believe, was it this week or next week they were gonna come?
They were talking about this week, but I'll bet because of the weather, they.
Could be. Anyhow, this week and or next week, they will be in to do the mud jacking, if you care to call it that. Filling the voids underneath the concrete slabs inside the building, and then caulking all the joints to seal that up. So that will cause, our equipment to have to be parked outside for a couple days while that material sets up. But at that point, the repairs should be complete.
Very good. Once again, thanks very much for your effort doing that. Any questions for Vice Chairman Meyer? Okay, let's go to new business. Closest station response policy draft. Chief Baird.
All right, this is what we've been working on, Dexter and myself and our staff. And what we really have done is Tommy brought up about dispatch, and we worked through, part of the process with this was working with dispatch to set this up so it would work with them. And so everything was set up on individual township grids, because that's how they function. So we looked at this from an on-duty response of just the people that are on 24, that are on duty working. And then those incidents that would, require more people and, all calls. But in any event, for these areas, they will be getting a Dexter and a CAFA truck to these areas. So what we did is, those areas that are in close proximity to our two jurisdiction stations would go accordingly. So, and all I did is took a county map and I just kind of color coded it so you get an idea of where those areas are. And for Lima, it's pretty much everything east of Dancer would be dual response area. Linden Township, and obviously the difference with Lima Township, some of it's going to be we're closer than they're closer, but in any event, our station 2 and their main station is closer than our main station for those calls. And then for Linden Township, we took the upper, for the most part, the upper northeast area, and their primary response, and obviously is going to be Dexter. Their station 2 up on North Territorial Road, and then we'll back them up. And then Dexter Township, same thing. We'll cover the western township sections, and that's kind of the same thing with Lima Township. There's going to be areas that our station's closer than the Dexter station. So, but the whole idea and the whole point behind it is each of us are only committing a station to the response instead of committing 2 stations to some of these responses. That's kind of how we looked at it and what it's all about.
Questions for the chief? Go ahead, Kurt.
I understand this isn't draft, so you interested in some input?
Sure, go for it.
Establishing a procedure for and the purpose, and not maximizing emergency response, I think optimizing, in my opinion.
Okay.
Include page numbers on it. Reference the attachments. I think the attachments are really helpful that you put in there. The Lima, Linden maps. Refer to the attachments, and then your numbering on your incident response goes from 1 to 3. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And you start out with sort of the number 1 with sort of
a and then should be number 2.
And then 3 has very little description of where 3 is. So.
It's really just 2. So.
Okay, I understand it's a draft.
Yeah, it's just 2. So.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Got a couple of minor things as well. It's just me, but when I first looked at the Lima map, I was interpreting the box around Lima as coverage.
I was afraid that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I was afraid that was going to happen when I did that. After I did it, I thought, well, So.
That's just me, but
Yeah.
with your list of single response,
Yes.
on-duty response, I should say. carbon monoxide's in there twice?
One is if there is a patient.
It's
So
not
it should
listed.
be,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
that should be changed, and, yeah,
All right.
we can add that.
Secondly, the last two items on the on-duty response, aircraft crashes and bomb threats and terrorist incidents are on-duty response, really?
Until we can determine,
It's verified that it is what it is?
yeah,
Okay,
so, and then we can always upgrade it.
Okay, so
So we start slow, because like the gas line, like, we were getting reports of,
yeah,
airplane crash, there, so, it was just kind of thought that we upgraded the response or we could always upgrade the responses. But with the two stations going and the apparatus, and quite honestly, I've been on a lot of plane crashes, and the end result's not usually too favorable
It's
for,
smoking hole in the ground.
yeah, so.
Well, I would suggest that, just, I don't want to be critical, but indicate what we're dealing with here is a potential large catastrophic incident, but that there's some uncertainty there. Just leave it at that, as you see fit. We do have unknown crashes, but I guess that's a lesser
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, it is.
That's all I got. Good work. Question, okay. This is still draft. You're presenting this to us for informational purposes, or do you want us to approve this?
I would like to have it approved, because Dexter's it's going to their board Thursday night.
Okay,
And so our intent is to implement this July 1.
all right,
And so I would say with the changes, the recommended changes.
okay. And that we
Yeah.
suggested here today?
Yes.
All right, in that case, I would entertain a motion to approve the regional emergency response closest station policy.
I would make that motion to adopt the regional emergency response closest station policy between CAFA and DAFD as amended to become effective July 1.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the closest station response policy as moved indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion is agreed to, the resolution is approved. Thank you. Let me just add this has been a topic of discussion between myself and the Dexter Area Fire Department Chair, Harley Ryder. And he has been present at some of the discussions here, and I have not. There are extenuating circumstances for that. Generally, it's this board's policy, and I think it's a smart one, is that this is firefighter business. They sit down as firefighters and they decide what makes best sense. They bring it to the board and we approve it. I guess I will make the statement that in future, if there are meetings in which board members from other governmental entities are present, even though it's an operational meeting like this one, I will attend.
And I didn't know that he was gonna be there, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those, and there are mitigating circumstances because they don't currently have a fire chief, so you can understand that. But I'm just saying, in the future, to make sure that we're both represented, both boards are represented, I will attend, okay? And I don't need to, just, without objection, we'll do that, okay. Grant approval application, this is another issue. There is a grant approval that I signed and submitted a couple of weeks ago now. This is something that happens from time to time. Sometimes you have to get these documents in to meet the timeline. I sign it hoping that the board will approve that, and that's what I'm asking you to do in this case. And again, make the announcement, I will do that in the future. I will sign it with the expectation, bring it to the board at the first opportunity, and the board approves it. If the board doesn't, of course, we would have to renege whatever the opportunity is. The only option other than that is to have a special session to bring everybody in to vote on this. It's relatively minor. So with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the grant application.
I would make a
previously submitted.
motion to approve the grant application dated May 29th, 2015, to the Michigan Township Participating Plan, signed by Chairperson Anderson,
Second.
Chairman, board chairperson is what you get.
I know, I talked to him about that. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The motion is agreed to and the grant application is approved. The one additional item is something I received yesterday, and it's in a new packet. FOIA changes. This is in the, you know, your relevant page is this is the thing you'll have to, okay? So if you want this, okay. So it's a whereas resolution type of thing. It is boilerplate prepared by our attorney. Craig, you've
I
gone through this.
I can speak on this because we just had to do this in our, in a drastic hurry as we were doing here.
Yes.
Had to do that at our last township board meeting when I became aware that this was required to be, the policy was required to be in place by 1 July. There is nothing that states if there's something in there we don't like, that it cannot be changed afterwards, but at least at this point, we have officially approved the new FOIA policy and the sweeping changes that it entails.
Are they sweeping changes?
Pretty
Yes.
much,
Mhm.
yes. Oh, it's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Could you?
basically, I went to MTA, had training right here in town. I went to it, plus our office manager, the MTA on the road was at the Comfort Inn just last week, and we went to that. I purchased a book from MTA about the new FOIA changes. It has a disc in there, and it covers all the forms you have to approve.
Wow.
Okay.
All of that has to be approved, but you can purchase that through MTA.
I believe our documents indicate that the fire chief is the FOIA
Coordinator.
coordinator. Jim, are you, I mean, I assume that can be delegated. I would like to move forward on this today, obviously, because the alternative is to have a special session.
We just need to.
Our two experts, are you two comfortable with this thing you see before you?
Yes, because there's really nothing to speak of you can change in there. You have to abide by the new regulations and basically update your policy.
I'll give everybody, you know, a chance to give you a minute or two to, I realize this is, as I said, I got this at 2 o'clock yesterday, so.
Mhm. I only found out about it by reading the latest MTA magazine. I knew there were changes coming,
Yeah, I don't get that.
but I didn't realize that it had to be adopted by
That's
the
Time
1st of
sensitive,
July.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were in a mad scramble on that too.
Unfortunately, Foster Swift is doing this, they're doing this across the board, obviously, so they get the advantage of this basically a cookie cutter modified version. So,
I'm sure they do it for
yeah.
all their clients that are involved with it.
It seems pretty detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
is.
brought the Sylvan Township FOIA policy, and it's 3 pages.
Yeah.
This one's about 30.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
well, that's the way ours used to be too.
A lot of
It
changes.
used to be a very simple thing,
This
but
is
now,
drawn up by lawyers.
That's the difference.
Get paid by the hour.
Yeah.
By the page,
By
yeah.
the page.
well, if you read the new policy, I mean, now, I guess the easiest way to explain it is if you send me a FOIA, I basically have to send you back a bid form, if you will, that states what the costs are gonna be, what the copy costs are gonna be, on and on and on. you know, and have you approve that before I get started on your FOIA. Yeah, it's out there, let me tell you. Somebody had a lot of time on their hands.
Okay, well, when we're ready, I would entertain a motion to approve this FOIA policy, this resolution. I don't think we need to read the resolution. Somebody wants to.
I would make a motion to adopt the new FOIA policy for the Chelsea Area Fire Authority as presented by Foster Swift. Today's date, going into effect July 1st, 2015.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. I'll let you catch up on that. So you'll have to, I think maybe, it looks like we may need a roll call vote for this. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote on the motion on the floor.
Aye.
Rod?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, the motion which approves the resolution is agreed to, and their FOIA procedures are in place. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Linda, maybe we should have stated that as a resolution rather than a motion.
Yeah, it's a resolution to
So-
approve.
Good.
So,
To approve.
yes. Resolution number, wherever we're at, and then the same statement.
Resolution.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what you get.
yeah.
Okay.
Basically be
We done?
approving
Yeah.
this.
All right. Reports. Chairman, I have no additional report. Vice Chairman Meyer,
No additional?
Madam Secretary, you have anything?
Nothing.
Treasurer
Nothing additional?
and
Nothing
Trustee
additional.
Osborne. Okay. Great, thank you. Next meeting is scheduled for July 21st, 9 a.m., which is, I guess it's 5 weeks, right? We'll be here. Final public comment? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
That'd be me, the motion to adjourn, Matt.
All right, good for you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. No further discussion. All those in favor indicate to adjourn and take it saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. We're doing pretty well. Okay. Great, thanks.
I was surprised, a lot of people think that they didn't know about the MTA training.